Have you ever stopped to think what your daily bike ride is actually worth? And I don't just mean for your health. I mean in cold, hard cash. Today, we're diving into how the simple act of pedaling to work is being totally transformed by finance and data science, turning our everyday wellness data into a real, verifiable financial asset.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the tech that's probably on your wrist right now. Then we'll get into the big problem. How can anyone actually trust that data? From there, we'll see how the pros solve this with some pretty cool science. And then we'll put it to the test. We're going to look at the actual dollar value of a bike commute. And finally, we'll zoom out and see how this is about to completely change the future of insurance.
All right, first up, let's talk about something many of us are super familiar with, the wearable. Smartwatches, fitness trackers, we are all walking, talking, data-generating machines.
And get this, it's not some niche tech thing anymore. We're talking about almost half of all Americans. This has gone way beyond a simple fitness trend. It's a massive shift in how we measure our own lives. Every step, every single heartbeat, every commute, it's all becoming a data point. I mean, look at what these things are capturing. Our steps, heart rate, how well we're sleeping, even the exact GPS route we take to work. It creates this incredibly detailed picture of our habits. But, it also brings up a huge question. What is all this personal data really worth? And who is it worth it to?
So here's where it gets really interesting. It turns out not all data is created equal. There's a giant difference between the data we casually track for ourselves and the kind of data you can take to the bank or to an auditor.
And this gets us to the core problem we're talking about today. Can a big company's finance department or an insurance underwriter really depend on the data from your watch to make million-dollar decisions about risk and healthcare costs? Well, the short answer is nope, not on its own anyway.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. It's what you could call the verification crisis. Over on the left, you've got your standard consumer data. It's unverified, it's biased. I mean, let's be honest, people who use fitness apps are usually more active to begin with, so it fails all the serious financial standards. But on the right, you have audit-grade data. This stuff is hardware verified, it's defensible, and it meets the super high standards needed for real financial modeling.
This quote just nails it. Think about it. If you're a company running a wellness program, any money you spend on incentives is completely wasted if you can't prove the activity actually happened. That first unverified mile, that's a huge financial black hole. So if we have this giant gap between regular data and trusted data, how do we bridge it? Well, the answer comes from a field that's been managing risk and uncertainty for hundreds of years, actuarial science. This is where the magic happens, turning messy, real-world data into something rock solid. And who makes the rules for all this? That would be these folks, the Actuarial Standards Board, or ASB. You can think of them as the gatekeepers, the referees of financial risk. They're the reason you can't just hand over your Fitbit data for an insurance calculation. They demand proof, and believe me, their standards are incredibly high.
And to get specific, there's a rule called ASOP 23. It's all about data quality. And it basically says that for an actuary to even touch a piece of data, they have to be absolutely certain it's reliable and right for the job. And guess what? Your unverified, self-reported fitness data, it just doesn't make the cut.
The key concept they use is something called actuarial credibility. The best way to think about it is like a sophisticated balancing act. An actuary takes a company's own unique data, like their employee health claims, and they carefully blend it with massive, stable data from the entire industry. This mix creates a forecast that's both customized and reliable. It keeps a few random events from messing up the whole model. All right. Enough of the theory. Let's see how all this works in the real world. We're going to look at the hard numbers behind a verified bike commute. This is where data turns directly into dollars. So let's walk through a case study of a corporate wellness program. But this one isn't built on wishful thinking. It's built on verifiable, audit-grade data. The whole point is to prove that paying employees to bike to work actually makes the company money. So how does it work? It's actually a pretty simple two-step plan. First, the company invests a small amount, say $20 a month, to encourage employees. But, and this is the absolute key, every single ride has to be verified by hardware. Then, step 2, the company just measures the savings that roll in. And boom, here's the payoff right away. The most the company spends per employee is $240 a year.
But the data shows that an engaged employee saves the company an average of $462 in medical claims alone. That is nearly a 2-to-1 return on investment before we even look at anything else.
But the story does not end with medical claims. Not even close. Verified bike commuters take, on average, 1 less sick day a year. They're more focused and productive when they are at work. And here's the kicker. The same system that verifies the bike ride automatically generates the audit-grade data that companies need for their ESG reports on carbon emissions. The value just keeps stacking up.
Now, let's be real for a second. Cycling isn't totally risk-free. We all know stories of serious accidents, and those risks are very real. But from an insurer's point of view, this doesn't kill the model. Actually, it makes it stronger. The fact that risk exists is exactly why they need verified data, to accurately price policies and tell the difference between a casual commuter and, say, an extreme mountain biker.
So where is all of this headed? Well, this idea of verified real-time wellness data isn't just for a corporate wellness program. It's poised to totally revolutionize the entire insurance industry. We're talking about shifting from a static, once-a-year transaction to a dynamic, daily partnership.
I mean, just look at the possibilities here. Insurers can use this data to fast-track healthy people, getting them the best rates in minutes, not months. They can engage with you every day, rewarding healthy choices. They could even start offering insurance to people who were considered too high risk before, because now they can prove they're managing their health. And the ultimate goal? Maybe dynamic premiums that actually go up or down based on your verifiable actions.
And let's not forget that big-picture corporate strategy angle. For a chief financial officer, this is all about lowering healthcare costs. But for a chief sustainability officer, that exact same verified data is the golden ticket to proving the company is hitting its climate goals. What starts as a simple wellness program becomes this powerful tool for ESG reporting. It turns a compliance headache into a clear financial win.
So, we've seen how a simple bike ride can get woven into this complex financial world. This technology offers some incredible upsides: efficiency, personalization, fairness. But it also forces us to ask a really big question. As we get better and better at quantifying every little part of our lives, how do we find the right balance between personalized risk and our fundamental right to privacy? That's the question we're all going to have to answer together.